Day 4 of Miami Dolphins Training Camp and the third practice are wrapped up and in the books, and we got a lot to talk about. Tua Tagovailoa continues to look sharp, but Quinn Ewers has his sharpest day so far as well. Plus, that boy big play Willie Gay showed up and was making quite the impression from what I understand today. Defense did win the day again. We will talk about that. Plus, Jaelan Phillips has some big words for Chop Robinson and his future in the NFL, so we'll discuss that. Plus, a whole lot more, including some interesting things that Jonah Savaiinaea said at the podium. We got a lot to cover. We got a lot to talk about. Do me a favor. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, let's get into this one.
Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jaelan has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Minkah field on the near side, man open. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. It's going over the touchdown again. Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. Appreciate each and every one of you for coming through on this Friday as we wrap up the third practice and the day. I include the day the players reported, so the fourth day of camp has come to a conclusion, and we have a ton to talk about. First things first, shout out to all of you in the chat. All of you Madden fans, you better get ready because July 28th, they're going to reveal the 99 club. The 29th, they're going to reveal the rookies. The 30th, they're going to reveal the offense. The 31st, they're going to reveal the defensive ratings. And on the 1st, they're going to have X Factors and a full-on reveal of the team and where they're at. So, interesting. Also, for you guys and gals that are going to camp this weekend, the Dolphins are starting a new thing where they're going to be giving a Miami Dolphins orange jersey fan of the day. So basically, one deserving fan will be selected as the orange jersey fan of the day at all Dolphins training camp practices open to the public. Fans can submit nominations at the Orange Tent on Activation Road each day between 7:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. The winner will be announced near the end of the day's practice and must be in attendance. The winner will receive an authentic orange practice jersey signed by that day's orange jersey player and an exclusive experience at the Dolphins preseason game against Jacksonville on Saturday, August 23rd. Man, it would be a shame if you guys all voted for me and I had to extend my trip and go to that Jacksonville game when I come down for camp for 3 days on the 19th, the 20th, and the joint practice with the Jags. It would be such a shame for all of you to do that to me. Another thing I want to talk about, PFN, or apparently they changed their name to PFSN. They had a hypothetical trade for the Bears and the Dolphins where the Dolphins would receive Cole Kmet and the Bears would receive a 2026 third-round pick. Not happening. They are not going to be looking to take on Cole Kmet and that money. So I don't even know why we're even, hypothesizing on something like that. The fact of the matter is this team is going to continue, even if we're against it, because I heard Julian Hill wasn't good again today from some people I talked to that were at camp. I heard he wasn't good again. They believe in him. They're going to want to see Darren Waller in action. Tanner Conner is looking like he's in preseason form where he looks like he's going to be a game wrecker, and then the games start and he disappears. So we'll see if he shows up for any of those games. But yeah, they're not trading for Cole Kmet. That's just not happening anytime soon. I don't even really know why that's kind of a discussion. Another thing I wanted to talk about too, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. McDaniel, we're going to get into what some of McDaniel said today. We're going to actually go over talking points. I'm not going to put you guys through the tortures of the ums, uhs, and the extended answers. We'll go in article format today for what he had to say. But Nick Westbrook-Ikhine and as well as Willie Gay were named as players that were just bringing that energy to practice. And I can say this. Apparently, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine had his best day today. And from what I understand, he's pretty much solidified in that wide receiver 3 role. Now we know, obviously, McDaniel loves to use his receivers, so I wouldn't be worried about Malik Washington, who's still getting plenty of opportunities in practice. But from what I've heard, like the first couple of days, Tua and Nick Westbrook-Ikhine kind of looked like off, whereas today they were making some big plays together, and apparently he had his best day today. And so there you go. We're going to get into all the details, but I want to go over that because I don't remember if that's mentioned in any of the info we're going to go over. Also, let's talk about it. Christian Wilkins was released yesterday by the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's apparently the reason the Raiders voided his guarantees, the remaining guarantees on his deal, was due to what they cited as a failure to maintain his physical condition to play. And so this is where we're at. Basically, because of how Wilkins has treated the rehab from his injuries, the Raiders voided a remaining $35.2 million of guaranteed money left on his contract. And they did it on June 4th. So think about this. They did it a month and a half ago. Wilkins had 50 days from June 4th to ask the NFLPA to file a grievance on his behalf. And yesterday, the union did so on July 24th, the last date it was eligible. It's interesting how this is going to go down. Here's the fact of the matter. I'm going to tell you right now, if he wins his grievance, we got a shot. The Dolphins have a shot if he wins his grievance because then he can go play anywhere for cheap, right? If he doesn't win his grievance, the Dolphins are going to have no shot because he's going to be looking to go recoup some of that money and get paid. Now, Diana Rossini reported last night that after speaking with a few teams, it sounded like the next step for Wilkins will be taking visits and undergoing physicals with potential suitors. So one head coach did emphasize to her that if he's not healthy enough to play for the Raiders, something must not be right. Now, let's go even further to the homies, my homie Ricky. You know what it is, my boy, Slick Ricky Scoops. He said today that the Giants have been told Christian Wilkins won't be healthy for the start of the season, but he could be available if they're in the playoff hunt. It does sound like Christian Wilkins wants to play for a contender. So, I mean, you might as well chalk it up. That pretty much means here come the Eagles when it matters the most, huh? Here come the Eagles. Here they come. So, that's apparently what the deal is regarding. Listen, here's where I'm at. If he is willing to come on the cheap, if you can get him on the cheap, like all day, right? Like 110% all day. So, that's where I'm at. I mean, to me, it's, you gotta be, how could you say no? If he's going to, listen, if he gets paid out on the grievance and, he's willing to come here on the cheap, who's willing to say no? And by cheap, I mean like a couple of million. I don't even mean like 6, 7, 8 million. I mean like a couple of $1 million, because he's getting paid. How could you say no? Yes, take care of Zach Sieler first. 110%. Give Zach Sieler that big contract. But if you could, think about this. Let's really think about this for a second. a defensive front of Jordan Phillips rotating at nose, Kenneth Grant can rotate at nose and end, and then Zach Sieler and Wilkins coming in at end as well, with Sieler taking up the most snaps. And then at edge, a rotation of Chop, Phillips, and Chubb. My God, that would be the best defensive front in the NFL. Now, I don't expect Wilkins to be healthy. I don't even think this is a realistic possibility this year. Now, if he's willing to come here and take minimal money because we make the playoffs to help us on a playoff run, I'm down. But I don't even think this is something feasible you could even think about till maybe next offseason. Because, the Raiders wanted him to get surgery again, and he kind of balked at it. And he didn't want to get surgery again on that Jones fracture he has in his foot. So, listen, again, at the right price, which is cheap because he wins a grievance, let's go. If he doesn't win the grievance, we pretty much don't have a shot at him, and I wouldn't even, dip my toes in that water, But listen, imagine if he got healthy during the season and he came here on the cheap, like super cheap, and he helped us win that first playoff game. That would be awesome. Awesome. What a story that would be. But take care of Zach Sieler first. Go give Zach Sieler his contract before, even if Christian Wilkins calls you tomorrow and says, I want $1 million. You go take care of Zach Sieler first, and then you go give Christian Wilkins his $1 million. That's what I'd be doing. That's, but I mean, listen, I would be in. And speaking about the NFLPA, the union, a criminal investigation into finances of the NFL's Players Association includes potential misuse of funds and self-enrichment by union officials. It is, and this is all, it's going back to this cover-up, right? It's really just going all the way back to this cover-up they got caught for. But, guys, the feds are probing the NFLPA on actions that they, quote, may be criminal. It's kind of crazy. The document that has been, seen by multiple sources says that the union is now, quote, on notice of financial actions that may be criminal, and that the union faces, quote, immediate threats requiring prompt actions. And this is just days after Executive Director Lloyd Howell Jr. and Director of Strategy J.C. Treader resigned. Again, this is going back to them finding out about collusion on contracts. I mean, this union looks like it's going to have to be blown up and rebuilt from the ground up, huh? Like, it really does look like we're going to have to be going there, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So, I mean, man, that's just nuts to me. That's just nuts that the feds are probing the NFLPA. Can you please explain that draft status doesn't determine how good a player can be? Reason Ewers is not a waste because he got drafted in the 7th. Purdy. You laid out an example right there. Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was the last pick in his draft. I mean, draft status goes out the window when training camp starts. Now it's all about what you do on the field. Draft status only matters for the contract you're getting and if you have a 5th-year option. It matters more to the players' pockets than it does to the team when training camp starts. Ewers was not a wasted pick. I mean, look at a guy who I was high on too, the 49ers. They doubled back, and what did they do? They drafted Curtis Rourke. I mean, you're trying to tell them that they wasted a pick on Curtis Rourke after they hit on Brock Purdy? To simply just box in a guy because they're a 7th round pick, it's very ignorant. that's very ignorant in my opinion. It's about what you do on the field, right? I mean, like, let's be honest here. You want to be should we stick with the Dolphins, or do we want to go even further? Where was Jake Scott drafted? Right? Key member of Miami's no-name defense. Where was he drafted? He was drafted in the 7th round. Huh? Julian Edelman, Patriots, one of the greatest Patriot receivers of all time, drafted in the 7th round. Huh? Where do you think Bo Jackson was drafted by the Raiders? Bo Jackson was drafted in the 7th round. I'll do you one better. Shannon Sharp with the Broncos. Where was Shannon Sharp drafted? 7th round by the Denver Broncos. And those are just a few names. Like, we could get into way back in the day, a guy like Larry Wilson. You go back. I mean, you got some Hall of Famers that have been drafted in the 7th round. I'm not saying Ewers will be Hall of Famer, but if we're going team and recency bias, Jake Scott, Julian Edelman, Bo Jackson, Shannon Sharp, Brock Purdy. I mean, one of the best centers of the 90s into the early 2000s. Tom Nalen for the Broncos, right? He spent his whole 13-year career, and he was drafted 218th overall. So, and then, I see, well, you can name a few good ones, but I can name you 2,000 bad ones. Okay, you could do that for you could do that for the 4th round. How many 4th round picks miss? Lee Meikenberg was traded up for in the 2nd round. How does that work? How does that work out? Is he a hit? I'm just asking. I mean, you could sit here. The numbers are on the side of players not working out for every round. How many 1st round picks in the top 10 can we name that haven't worked out? It's literally every single round. This is why draft status doesn't matter, except for if you have a 5th-year option and what the paycheck's going to be. Let me ask you this. Do you think when everyone's taking the field at practice today, they're talking about where they were drafted? Nope. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Draft status doesn't matter when training camp starts. Yeah, I mean, and this guy thinks that I'm proving his point. When no, clearly this person, his ears fell off, or the hamster that runs on the wheel in his brain must have passed out or died. Zach Thomas, 5th round pick. How many 5th rounders haven't worked out compared to how many 5th rounders have hit? Again, you could say that for every round in the NFL. So, it's a dumb argument to say that's a wasted pick. Go tell all those teams who drafted those players I named in the 7th round that a 7th round pick, a wasted pick. Ignorant argument, man. Ignorant argument. Draft status only matters with how much money you're lining your pockets with, and if you got a 5th-year option. Period. I mean, Nick Needham was undrafted. Noah Igbinoghene was taken at the end of the 1st round. Who did we get better play out of? The undrafted guy or the guy taken at the end of the 1st round? Just saying. Draft status don't matter when the pads come on and when camp starts. Kader Kohu, our best corner in our room right now, was a UDFA. And no, when you say dumb stuff that can be easily countered, you lose the argument. Not me. Okay? Sorry. Don't try and cop out by me talking about the hamster not running in your head that, oh, you lost it. No. Okay? Sorry. Okay? I'm just saying. Point proven, over and done with. Thank you. Chalk up another W to Reason. All right. Let's get into what went down today. Let's get into some of the stuff we have going on. And let's start off with Mike McDaniel. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and bore you guys with the uhs, ums, and the drawn-out answers. Let's just get in straight to what Mike McDaniel, some main takeaways and quotes he had to say today. Okay? So, the Dolphins have begun training camp without their starting center. Aaron Brewer is not practicing for the most part because of a lower extremity, slight soft tissue injury. Coach Mike McDaniel said Friday, "I'm not overly concerned. You should see him sooner than later." So there you go. Aaron Brewer is going to be back soon. Brewer was spotted wearing a compression sleeve on his right leg. The Dolphins did not put Brewer on the physically unable to perform list so that he can take snaps from quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, something they did on Thursday. Brewer remained sidelined on Friday. Andrew Meyer has been filling in. More on McDaniel's news conference today. Minkah Fitzpatrick's first free practice as a Dolphin, his second tour of duty with the team, have delighted Coach Mike McDaniel. Quote, "You got super pumped when you're like, yes, that's what I was hoping for," McDaniel said. "I see a quiet guy that I engage with in a mild manner. He's cool, but he's kind of mid-energy in a building. And then watch him put on a uniform and step on the grass, and you see a different energy and command. You can tell that that's his sacred place on the football field." McDaniel said there were 2 plays on Thursday that within the defensive system, he was able to utilize some of his football IQ. I don't know why it says FBI, and really disrupt a couple pass plays in particular that to you guys would just be seen as a random incompletion, but he was taking away where they were trying to go. And then I see a guy that doesn't underestimate the importance of earning his relationships within the team, like understanding that you need to get to know people before you can affect them or influence them or help them. He somewhere sees himself as a leader of his team that wants to earn it the right way, and that's how you do it. Baron Matos, who was injured late in Wednesday's practice and airlifted to Ryder Trauma Center, who continues to improve. McDaniel said, "The time it took from when he left the field, that's a tough moment for any team. We are really pumped to hear he has feeling and movement in all extremities and doing better and better." I mean, should you really be using the word pumped? Like, my God. McDaniel stopped practice midway through Thursday's session to make a firm point with his team. Though his message wasn't heard by reporters, he explained his thinking on Friday. "If I'm stopping practice, I'm making a point, maybe emphasizing something we are working on that day or emphasizing finishing points for guys to be focused on." McDaniel was asked at what point he will know he needs to add cornerback help. He said, quote, "That defeats the nature of our whole process. We're coaching, developing, evaluating, always trying to get the team better. There are a lot of directions you can go. If a team has an injury or believes it's not good enough at a position, you have to fight the urge to predict the future," he added. McDaniel, on the addition of cornerback Cornell Armstrong, said, "Had an experience going against him. Really like where this guy's mind's at, where his talent's at. He has a chip on his shoulder. I like the way he goes about his business." That's why some players are sprinting after practice. McDaniel said it's a way for players to reemphasize the importance of doing little things right. Pre-snap penalties, those type of things. The leaders of the locker room are put in charge of being the police after practice for all those things that the officials noted that were illegal. Asked how Cam Smith is responding to being challenged internally, quote, "He is every day chopping wood and chasing technique, fundamentals, and being one with the teammates. I like where he's at today." On Savaiinaea, he said, "You watch how the veterans interact with a rookie player. Love his approach. You can tell the veterans believe in him. Doing a great job." On Kenneth Grant, he said he's been awesome. His emotional intelligence has been phenomenal. The team wants to see a guy that knows he's a rookie, that we need a lot from him to be his very best. He's working relentlessly. I like where he's at. On Tajay Washington, who missed all of his rookie season with an injury sustained before camp, McDaniel raved about his toughness. "We were really excited to get the opportunity to draft him." Again, another 7th round pick. So, every player, why have the 7th round if players picked it in the 7th round are nothing but wastes of picks, right? "We were really excited to get the opportunity to draft him. He's a very good collegiate player. But the biggest thing to me is if you are talented in the movement and fast and not a giant guy, you have to be football fearless. Football fearless guys who are willing to play on the outside and make a tough catch on the inside. He's tougher than he is big, and that's the biggest compliment I can pay to him. That's a commonality of guys who are quick and fast to have good careers. In other words, 5'10 receivers need to show toughness. He's had a long journey where he had a taste of stuff and had a season ender. You can tell by the way he attacks the field. Even though it's an unfortunate piece of adversity, here we get that word again, to have the injury, he used it to have perspective to attack and make the squad and have a role on this team. Asked about players who have provided an emotional lift at practice. McDaniel, he mentioned Willie Gay and receiver Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Ultimately, I feel the energy is more focused on good football. It's not celebrating the result of the play. It's celebrating how people are attacking their job, utilizing technique. McDaniel said, this is the most in shape that a Dolphins team has reported to camp since he became a coach before the 2022 season. He said, quote, they've been ready to practice. So a few things here, a few takeaways here. All right. Number one, basically his answer regarding if this team needs to add cornerback help, they're telling you what I've been telling. They want to see what they got in the young guys. They've got a set price with Rasul Douglas that they're not willing to come up on because they got faith in some of these young guys. Man, I mean, like some of the things I've heard, I've heard Storm Duck and Isaiah Johnson have looked really good the first 3 days. I've heard Cam Smith, he's been inconsistent. He's been kind of up and down. But I've heard Isaiah Johnson has looked really good, and so has Storm Duck. And apparently they got the faith in Storm Duck. So, I mean, you can tell right there that they're not emphasizing and they're not rushing to go out and overpay or add someone they think, that they think they got enough right now going on with that room. They really do. They really honestly believe that they got enough going on in that room to make things happen. So, yeah, I love it. I love what we are hearing and seeing so far. And I love what he said about Jonah Savaiinaea and how the veterans already believe in him. That's huge. That is massive. Guys, over 350 of you in the chat. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new. And just so you know, this episode, it is sponsored by Clean the World. Clean the World works with over 8,300 hospitality partners to divert their soap bars and plastic amenities from landfills and recycle the collected soap into new bars. By doing so, Clean the World helps reduce pollution, save water, and decreases the carbon footprint of thousands of hotels globally while helping improve the lives of women, children, and communities. Since it was established in 2009, Clean the World has distributed over 80 million bars of soap. The organization has also diverted 9 million pounds of plastic amenity bottles and over 29 million pounds of total waste from landfills and helped Clean the World Foundation provide an estimated 17 billion individual hand washes to those in need across the globe. By recycling the soap and other discarded hygiene products, Clean the World saves lives with items that traditionally end up in landfills. Listen, you can donate or even volunteer to help Clean the World's cause at cleantheworld.org. That's cleantheworld.org. And I say it all the time, please. If you are ever going to support one of my sponsors, I'm going to tell you right now, what they're doing over there at Clean the World, that is worth your time every day of the week. There are fantastic people with a fantastic cause. So, man, I love it. Shout out to Clean the World. So, and listen, you need to go support my friend Sean Seipler too, who heads it. He is one of the best people, if not the best person I've met in this community. He's a great human being, and you can just see it through the work he's doing and the causes he's backing. So, go support Clean the World, all right? Now, let's keep it rolling a little bit here, and let's get further into practice. Let's give you some updates, and let's start off like we always do with the homie Travis Wingfield. All right. And this is what went down from Travis's perspective. All right. So day 3 of Dolphins practice is over. He said that was his favorite day of the 3. Tua was again sharp, hooking up with Waddle and Reek for a handful of chunk gains. The day started with a tight window throw put away from the hook backer in front of the trail corner to Waddle for what could have been a long touchdown, but we'll call it a 30-yard gain. Travis thought the run continued to show signs you wanted to see coming into camp. Achane had a number of explosives, a lot of those coming off excellent work from Patrick Paul. Wingfield thought some of the other linemen had nice days were Keon Smith and Daniel Brunskill. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine had a big day, including a tight window shot for 25 up the sideline from Tua. He thought Julian Hill moved people at will in the run game today. There you go. Now, on the defensive side from today, he said on defense, Willie Gay might have been his orange jersey player. He was effective as a rusher against the run and was a menace in covering several impactful short throws. He dropped a pick 6 that he jumped off Zach Wilson. Speaking of Wilson, continue to see the progress from he and Ewers. Ewers threw his best ball of camp today for a conversion on 3rd and long to Eskridge into a tight window. Zach Sieler was a force constantly in the backfield today. Tyrell Dotson and Jordan Brooks were awesome. Channing Tindall tagged off at the line of scrimmage a few times too. Elijah Campbell was everywhere. He jumped a route to Eskridge for a breakup. Jordan Phillips' strength continues to stand out. And John Sanders, apparently he looked really good today. People I talked to privately said John Sanders was making some plays today, and he looked pretty good. Now, a few things. Keon Smith, I'm told he's been working at right guard. So he's working at guard right now. Larry Borum, who was working at guard during OTAs and mini camp, I've heard they've kicked him back out to left tackle. Larry Borum's been taking backup left tackle reps, while Keon Smith has been taking mainly guard reps, but also some backup right tackle reps as well. Daniel Brunskill, I've already reported this. From what I've heard, he's played all along the interior. He's moving along. Andrew Myers manning center, but with second team reps. Daniel Brunskill's taking reps everywhere on the interior with the second team. It sounds like he's going to lock in Daniel Brunskill. So, hey, Eichenberg, you might be gone for a little too long. John Sanders is the UDFA safety we got from Ole Miss. I was really high on him. If you go back to my free agency and UDFA grades, I was super high on adding John Sanders. Yeah, I am coming down to Miami. I am going to be down there from the 18th to the 22nd of August. I will be there for the 19th and the 20th practices, as well as the 21st for the joint practice with the Jags. So we're going to be down there. We're going to be out there, baby. So I can't wait to get out there. But yeah, again, Tua looking sharp, slicing and dicing. A Waddle, man, we keep talking about. We've been talking about it all offseason. Now into training camp. I think this guy's going to have a big year. I really think we're going to see a big year. And I'm going to tell you this too with Patrick Paul. The Dolphins think they got something on the left side with Savaiinaea and Paul. Just to let you know, they think they got something. And they think they got their left side covered for like the next 10 to 15 years. Right? They think they got something on that left side, man. Apparently, in the building, they're ecstatic right now. So, take for that what you will. All right? Now, let's get into what the Miami Herald had to say today. Quarterback play has been solid and mostly error-free through 3 days. Tua Tagovailoa, Zach Wilson, Quinn Ewers haven't thrown any touchdowns, but they haven't thrown any interceptions either. Tagovailoa was sharp. He opened up practice with a 20-yard completion to Jaelan Waddle. Remember, Travis said it should have been a touchdown and it was 30 yards. Kader Kohou was in coverage. He then completed a short sideline pass to Tyreek Hill with nobody in coverage. Tagovailoa, he completed a 40-yard pass to Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, but Elijah Campbell slowed down in coverage for an unknown reason. That was followed by short to intermediate completions to Achane and Farrell Brown, the latter on a play in which Grayson Murphy flushed Tagovailoa out of the pocket. So love hearing Grayson Murphy pressures early on in practice. Rookie safety Dante Trader was not spotted at practice. Byron Matos also remains away from the team, and center Aaron Brewer remains sidelined by a soft tissue injury. Kohou was wearing the orange jersey bestowed upon the player who excelled in the previous day's practice. Willie Gay Jr. broke up a pass by Zach Wilson. It would have gone for a pick six if Gay had held on to the interception. Wilson misfired on a subsequent pass, but then completed a 20-yarder to Tyreek Hill, then had a 10-yard completion to Eskridge. Wilson later completed a 15-yarder to Tariq Black with Ethan Bonner in coverage. Rookie quarterback Quinn Ewers has had a good and clean first 3 days of camp. On Friday, he had a 20-yard completion to receiver Theo Weiss Jr. and a 12-yarder to A.J. Henning. Ewers then made a good throw to Eskridge for a sizable gain with John Sanders in coverage. Then Ewers hit Tanner Connor for 15 yards. Jordan Brooks stopped Achane for a loss on the first running play of practice. Then linebacker Tyrell Dodson stopped Jaelan right in the backfield on the next play. The running game finally got going on the next play, a 10-yard run up the middle by Wright. Alexander Madison then had a long physical run to the left side. Cam Smith lost containment on the play. Don't like hearing that. Ollie Gordon runs good with physicality. He had a 12-yard run in 11-11 work, but at least 5 running plays went for a loss or no gain. Among them, Zach Sieler stopped Achane in the backfield after swerving past Austin Jackson. Derek McClendon had a sack, his second in 2 days. McClendon later jumped on a fumble by Gordon. Zeke Biggers also was involved in the play. The cast of Love Island was there, but who cares? Kenneth Grant had good penetration in the backfield on a running play. He has flashed early in camp. Grant flushed Tagovailoa out of the pocket, and Storm Duck broke up Tagovailoa's pass to Achane. Duck, who has had an opportunity to win the starting job, also broke up a pass to Malik Washington. After a slew of false start penalties on Wednesday and Thursday, there were 2 more on Friday, with Ryan Hayes committing one of them. Hill dropped several punts, but the Dolphins are unlikely to use him in that role. Waddle, Malik Washington, and rookies Theo Weiss Jr. and A.J. Henning were also involved in returns. Linebacker Channing Tindall had a second play in 3 days, stopping Madison at the line of scrimmage on a rushing attempt. Rookie safety John Sanders broke up a pass to Tanner Connor, and Mo Kamara stopped Achane in the backfield. Second-year edge player is trying to make a move. So a couple things to cover here. Number one, special teams there. So Malik Washington getting a chance. Waddle, I would rather have Achane back there than Waddle. Theo Weiss Jr. and A.J. Henning, who was a dynamic return specialist in college. Those are your guys that are getting a shot right now. Love hearing that Kenneth Grant is not only getting good penetration on a running play, but he's also flushing 2 out of the pocket. That's leading to incompletions. Love hearing that from Kenneth Grant, making plays early on. And Quinn Ewers, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, from what I've heard through OTAs and mandatory minicamp, when it's come to the timing throws, the anticipatory throws, I've heard he's just looked cleaner. Now, the other thing I've heard is, okay, you get there for warm-ups. Tua, he's out of both of their leagues. It's not even close. Zach Wilson in warm-ups, you're seeing the arm. You're seeing that pop on the arm. It's when and apparently Quinn Ewers doesn't look that great in warm-ups at all. But when the live action starts happening and the reps start happening, from what I've heard, Ewers has looked more comfortable operating inside the confines of what's asked of a quarterback in this offense than Zach Wilson. I've heard Zach Wilson has he'll make a couple throws that wow you, and then he'll make a bunch of throws that have you scratching your head. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm telling you, Quinn Ewers, look out, man. Let's go, baby. I've been telling y'all since last August. I've been telling y'all not only that McDaniel was in love with him, that he was going to be a perfect fit. So, man, listen, I don't expect it this year. And if we do get it this year, thank you. But this looks like by year 2, we might have, if McDaniel's still here, they might have a legitimate, efficient backup quarterback who can come in and operate this offense. So I'm here for it, man. You look at what Sarkisian asked of Ewers at Texas and the offense they operated, a lot of similarities to what's going to be asked of him by McDaniel and how he's going to have to operate this offense. So let's go, man. Let's go. I'm here for it. Listen, we need a legit option if Tua goes down. Knock on wood it doesn't, because if Tua doesn't go down this year, man, it looks like he's going to be shredding. But we need a legitimate option here. And I'm really praying Quinn Ewers provides that. You know, one of the reasons, many reasons, but one of the many reasons I'm hoping McDaniel and, we get some success this year and everyone sticks around, not only for the continuity, but, for guys like the running back room and how it's set up. I want to see Quinn Ewers continue to develop properly, right? So he's one of the reasons why I think we're on the path to getting a legitimate, competent backup quarterback, and I want to see that progress continue to develop. You know what I mean? So now, if Tua can't stay healthy, then all bets are off, for that whole quarterback room. Let's be real here. So, Quinn Ewers, he was also highlighted big time by the Sun Sentinel and their observations from camp. So, agent Drew Rosenhaus, who represents Zach Sieler, was spotted at the early part of practice. The 11-11 session started with a 15-yard pass from Tua to Jaelan Waddle on a slant. It was a crisp route and a sharp throw. Zach Sieler and linebacker Jordan Brooks got good penetration on an A-chan run. That man, I'm telling you, let's go. Both defenders have been strong through 3 days. Bradley Chubb and Jaelan Phillips were seen running 20-yard sprints on their own when the second-team players took over during the first and second 11-11 sessions. Both appear to be in great shape as they return from season-ending knee injuries. Starters didn't have many repetitions Friday as they did the previous 2 days when they got heavy work. Phillips said the decreased workload was one reason he and Chubb ran sprints. Willie Gay Jr. had an impressive pass breakup early in 11-11s. Gay has been a playmaker throughout the offseason at training camp. The inside linebackers led by starters Brooks and Tyrell Dotson and reserves Gay and KJ Britt are the deepest unit on the team. I don't know, man. That edge room is pretty freaking deep. Ewers had a nice sideline throw to receiver Andrew Armstrong. There you go. That's now multiple days in training camp. Andrew Armstrong's popped up in the report, so you love to see that. Ewers later had a nice throw to receiver Theo Weiss Jr. Later, Ewers stepped up in the pocket to avoid pressure, completed a pass to tight end Tanner Connor. Through OTAs, minicamp, and training camp, Ewers has seemed to learn quickly and not make the same mistakes twice. Let's go, baby! Tagovailoa had a strong throw to receiver Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, who has been a low-key player so far. Westbrook-Ikhine, a big-bodied player at 6'2", 211 pounds, might be more valued for situational roles such as third down, red zone, or goal line. Ryan Hayes had a nice block against edge rusher Grayson Murphy on a play that resulted in a completion from Tagovailoa to Tyreek Hill. Hayes hasn't yet stood out in camp. So, I mean, were we really expecting him to? Like, let's be honest here. Were we really expecting him to? I mean, come on. I know I wasn't. I know you weren't going to hear me saying, well, you weren't going to hear me talk anything about him. Let's be real here. All right. It just wasn't going to happen. Yeah. Gordon, he lost a fumble on a running play. It appeared to be recovered by edge rusher Derek McLennan. That's 2 days in a row of fumbles for Gordon. That's not great. That's not great. Oh, look at another wasted pick, according to someone in our chat. Zeke Biggers might have also been the one that recovered it, the 7th round pick from Georgia Tech. I love Zeke. Let's go, Zeke. Linebacker Channing Tindall. He had a tackle for no gain on running back Alexander Madison. Tindall has been low-key so far. Patrick Paul showed impressive speed as a lead blocker for HN on a left sweep. Paul has good wheels for being 6'7", 326 pounds. James Daniels, who was recovering from an Achilles injury, didn't appear to do any 11-11 drills Friday. Daniels has done 11-11 sparingly through 3 days. Jordan Colbert did a nice job fighting off a block and turning a running play by Ollie Gordon inside. The reserve safety battle is wide open at this early stage of camp. 5 flags were thrown for false starts, and 1 was on the punt team. The Dolphins had 4 referees at Friday after having 2 referees at each of the last 2 practices. Mo Kamara had a tackle for a loss, but overall he's been suspiciously quiet through OTA's minicamp, the first 3 days of camp. Fellow reserve edge rusher Quentin Bell has been more visible. Stock up for the Sun Sentinel. Quinn Ewers, he made several noteworthy plays Friday. That's hinted he's making progress as camp continues. Ewers had an impressive throw to D. Eskridge over the middle. Stock down Ryan Hayes. This is low-hanging fruit considering he's defending edge rushers Bradley Chubb, Jaelan Phillips, and Chop Robinson, among others, but he'll face players of similar caliber on game day. So, a few things here. Got to clean up these false starts. Like, these pre-snap penalties. Come on, man. This has been an Achilles heel for this offense. Come on. Love hearing Zeke Biggers making some plays. Again, I go back to what this person in the chat said earlier. 7th, if you're going to call Quinn Ewers a wasted pick in the 7th round, then that means every pick in the 7th round is a wasted pick. Because you are getting glorified UDFAs. I've talked about this. Really, it starts in round 6. You're starting to get glorified UDFAs. You don't want them to hit the open market. So apparently we need to just, wipe away the 7th round because there's just nothing but wasted picks. But I love hearing Zeke Biggers making plays, man. Love, love, love. All right? So, and again, you heard them, you heard about that Tagovailoa throw to Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, and he might be more valued for situational roles such as third down, red zone, and goal line. I'm telling you, the noise is going to start for him, for sure. So, love what we heard from that. So big stuff, man. Great stuff. And I love just hearing, man, Quinn Ewers. I told all y'all that this guy would be the fit, man. I told all y'all. I love it. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go, Quinn. So, Quinn Ewers balling out. Over 400 of you in the room. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Let's get into some of the media availabilities today. Kenneth Grant met with the media. And actually, you know what? Before we get to media availability, let me show you one of the highlights from today. All right? This is one of the Quinn Ewers throws for you right here. Big throw right there. Love, love, love seeing. There's your Quinn Ewers to D. Eskridge throw. Love seeing Ewers already making the highlight reel for camp. Love it. Love, love, love it, man. So, big stuff, man. Let's go. Go, 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 Gadget Ewers. All right? Go, go, Gadget Ewers. So, Quinn Ewers out here making and dropping some throws. Ikhine. Sorry. I don't know why I have such problems with Nick Westbrook-Ikhine's name, where I can pronounce Jonah Savaiinaea as like it's no issue. So, yeah. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. There you go. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Got it. All right. Let's get into these media availabilities. Let's get into Kenneth Grant and what he had to say. Ikina. See, look at you. Even y'all don't know what we're saying in the chat. All right. Look at Ikine, right? Ikine. Ikine. We got, even y'all don't even know how to pronounce it. Oh, that's hilarious. Ikhine. Let's go Ikhine. All right. Ikhine, 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 Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, Ikhine, Ikhine. Make this into a song. Jesus Lord. All right, let's get into this Kenneth Grant media availability.
Sieler has really taken you under his wing. What has that experience been like for you so far?
It's been pretty good, to be honest. I mean, he's challenging me in everything, on the field, off the field. So, I mean, just, being in a room with a guy like that, taking a different path for me, but he's also, excelling in one of the top dogs in this league. So, I mean, he's doing everything the right way. So I'm just, just trying to follow in his path.
Knowing his contract situation and the fact that he's still here every day showing his work, what kind of example does that set for you?
It sets a pretty good example because, I mean, obviously he wants that contract, but more than that, he wants to be here with us, our co-workers, but ultimately, like, the brothers. He cares about the interior D-line. We got kind of a lot of rooks in there right now, so he's kind of taking all of us under his wing, Benito, Matt Dickerson, all those guys that's been here. So they're kind of just like, putting in a collective effort of, trying to help us, but also, fend for themselves as well.
What's the biggest difference you found like in the NFL compared to college football?
I'll say in the NFL, practice is much faster, much more intense. Sometimes it's a little shorter, but the speed of practice and, speed of Indy is definitely ramped up for sure.
Have you had any battles with Savaiinaea yet?
Oh, yeah, we're battling. It's a battle every day, to be honest. I mean, me and Coach Clark, we were in there watching film of the walkthroughs. We're battling in the walkthroughs still, even though we're out not in pads or anything. So, I mean, everything, we do everything together. First in the building, last in the building. So we're just challenging each other, on the field and off the field.
All right. So apparently, as we go to Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, gate. Brandon D says, living in Tennessee and hearing the local sports radio pronounce, it's Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Oh, Ikhine. Is that what you mean? Ikhine? That's it? So apparently on Tennessee, it's Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. So there you go. I don't know. I like a pirate. Ikhine. And then other people are telling me it's Ikhine. Holy jeez. I'm just going to go with what the Tennessee radio is saying. I'll go with Ikhine. Ikhine. And then after this video, I'm going to go look it up. Don't worry. But Kenneth Grant, it's nice to hear that they're having battles. I can't call him Big Nick because one of my mods is Big Nick. Oh, it's Kine. See, y'all are all over the place, man. Y'all now it's my bad, Kine. So Ikhine. I don't know. Ikhine. That's where we're going. We're going Ikhine. Ikhine. That's where we're going. Ikhine. I'm going DR. Look at this guy's even got he's even got the little accent aigus over the A. You know what I mean? We're going with what he's saying. Ikhine. All right? Nickine. Oh, it's a hard A. Anytime I know to use a hard letter, it never ends up well. So, Ikhine. That's what we'll go with. Ikhine. Oh my God. Oh. Good Lord. All right. Jonah. He was in front of the media as well, and this is what he had to say.
Patrick Cole told us that you guys were up here working a lot in the off season. What was the purpose of that? What was the thinking behind that?
I mean, obviously, I'm my rookie year, and he's his second year here. So my mindset was, no vacation for me until this is all over. So I wanted to stay here, get acclimated to this weather because everyone's been saying it's only going to get hotter. So I got to stay here. And having Pat, here all summer, we got to build that chemistry, especially, I'm playing next to him. So just building chemistry, not only on the field, but off the field, just being able to trust each other,
You guys have a competition to see who can get here first and leave last.
Is it?
I don't know if you're aware of that, but what do you think? face ring competition?
Well, if it's a competition, I mean, KG's not even close to me, so I don't see him around when I'm here. So yeah.
What's your experience or comfort level left guard versus right guard?
No, it's a slowly progress. You know, like Coach Butch said, you know, he rather sees me, respond to adversity. So there are adversities on the field, and my biggest challenge is can I respond back to it? So just being able to, I got veterans in this room. You know, Liam that had played 5 positions. You know, we got guys like Dan that just got in. AJ played also left guard as well his first year, and then AJ. You know, all those guys just taking notes from them. You know, they just made it easy when I'm out there. So.
For those of us who haven't played O-line, what's that shift like? To move to the other side, what does that feel like?
Yeah, watching TV, you think it's easy just going from right to left, but when you actually, get in that left stagger and you haven't been in that stagger for in your whole time or your whole life, so it's a big difference, especially for myself, just being able to, like I said, pushing off of my right leg. And
Yeah.
it's something I worked on this off season, just personal stuff, just being able to get my hip mobility better. So.
What have your conversations with Tua been like since coming here?
Oh man, that's the older bro. Tua is like an older bro of mine. Right when we connected, it felt like we knew each other for a long time. And I've been hanging out at his house, over the break, just having our jam sessions. He's got a voice. I don't know, he's got a voice. He can play every instrument. So it's been good. Yeah, it's been great.
Listen, I love Jonah Savaiinaea and what we're hearing early on from him. He's clearly, man, this guy's a future leader on this offense in those trenches. Listen, he kind of told all y'all what we've already known. He's at left guard right now. I've told you, I've reported, other people have reported that he's at left guard. And he basically told you right there. And this is why I talk about when you're scouting guys who are capable of maybe making the switch. This is why you got to look. This is why I always tell you to look for 2 specific things. If you find football IQ and you find athleticism, usually guys can make that jump. And like I said earlier, the Dolphins have high hopes for him being next to Patrick Paul. Now, Jaelan Phillips had his media availability today, and oh boy, look what he had to say about Chop Robinson after he talked about recovering from his injury.
Saying the ACL is easier than Achilles?
Oh, by far, yeah, for sure. It's just a lot like with the ACL. You're back to, well, especially with me because I didn't have a meniscus tear. You're back to like normal functional life stuff after like a week or 2. So I'm walking around, traveling, doing whatever. The Achilles, I couldn't walk for like 4 months damn near, without the boot at least. So it's just a lot more tedious with the Achilles, and then coming back from it, like you got to imagine your Achilles is taking the brunt of like the whole entire force of your whole entire body. The ACL as well, but from a weight bearing standpoint, it doesn't really affect you that much. It's more of like getting back into the stability. With me, it was a contact injury, not a non-contact injury, so the stability wasn't an issue. It was just getting the patella back, getting the quad strength back. So it's been a really, simple rehab, not easy, but simple. And yeah, like I said, just really grateful to be back. Like OTAs was fun, but it was kind of like a tease. Like it was just getting in 7 on and stuff, which I was grateful for. But being able to get out there, team reps, knock the dust off, it's a really, really good feeling.
How soon did you feel the quad strength that you were talking about start to come back?
Pretty quickly. I was fortunate to be able to get the quad back pretty quick. But in terms of like actual functional strength and being able to play, not until basically OTAs. Like I felt pretty good at OTAs. Felt like I probably could have done some team reps. Obviously, no reason to rush it in OTAs. So I think the timing all worked out perfectly.
Would you look like you 2 guys together again?
I got you, guys.
Would you 2 guys together again? And then also now chop up being with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting for us all to be able to play at the same time. I don't think all 3 of us have been on the active roster
Talk
playing
about
at the same time yet. And if I have, I don't know. But anyways, like playing with Bradley has been some of the most fun times in my career. I feel like when we're on the field, if it's not me, it's him, or both of us, and vice versa. So, being on the field with him is great, but then adding Chop into that equation, like I truly feel like Chop is going to be one of the best players in the league very soon. I think he already is supremely talented, but the more comfortable he gets, the more confident he gets in everything he's doing. I think he's a future defensive player of the year candidate. So really excited to get on the field with all 3 of them, or all 3 of us. So it's gonna be great.
Put in the chat right now what you think about Chop. Is he a future one of the best players in the league and future defensive player of the year candidate? I think he is with that explosiveness, and I think he could flirt with double-digit sacks if that front stays healthy this year. Man, between Chop taking shots at the media, calling him out for not setting the edge, and now Jaelan Phillips doubling down, saying this guy could be one of the best players in the NFL. What an exciting pass rush the Miami Dolphins could have this year, and they're going to have it with the uncertainty of that cornerback room behind them. I can't wait. Can't wait. Guys, tomorrow practice is at 9 a.m. I will be live in the early afternoon, and we will discuss everything that goes down at practice and recap it tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. Sunday they're off, and then they're back at it Monday, and apparently pads come on Tuesday. That's what I'm hearing. So guys, smash that like button. Over 400 of you in the room. Subscribe if you are new, and you already know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day. We'll see you on the next one.